Buonasera a tutti signori e signore e ragazzi. Siamo qui per un'altra diretta quest'oggi. Scusate, sto cercando di... Non voglio che lo schermo vi dia fastidio perché ho notato che nelle altre dirette lo schermo era molto luminoso. Giustamente come tanti di voi sono a casa in smart working. E... ciao, buonasera. Diamo appunto la possibilità come al solito di dare la possibilità di accedere a coloro che volevano seguire questa diretta. Quest'oggi abbiamo un ospite sicuramente di altissimo livello. Un attimo solo che porto una piccola modifica. Eccoci qua, così mi vedo anche un pochino meglio anch'io. Ciao Giorgio. Un personaggio di altissimo calibro in A V Burrell. Questa diretta sarà sia in inglese che in italiano, in modo tale che possiamo appunto comunicare con lui in una maniera molto molto facile. Voi come state? Tutto bene? Un minutino ancora per appunto dare la possibilità a chi voleva vedere questa diretta di accedere e direi che possiamo proseguire. Insomma, mi raccomando, iscrivetevi al nostro canale YouTube dove ci sono tutte le dirette di tutti i nostri ospiti. Ho caricato anche quella con Dre Masso, quindi Dale De Groff, David Wondrich, Salvatore Calabrese, Peter Dorelli e tanti altri ancora. Diamo l'invito al signor Burrell. Allora, Ian, un attimo solo. Allora, Ian. Che così vediamo un attimino. No, ok. Allora, bello della diretta, ragazzi. Allora, Rum Ambassador. Ambasciatore. Allora, secondo solo perché non me lo trova, non so per quale motivo. Ciao a tutti, eccolo. Very good. There he is. Un secondo solo, just a second, that Instagram will let us connect with Mr. Burrell. And there. Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. A very delicate time in history, I think we're all passing.
It is, yeah, it is. It is. Very strange time, but hey, yeah, we have to live. We've lived through worse, and we'll get through.
Absolutely. It's very. I think the best part probably is to be optimistic, not positive, because obviously,
Correct.
Can't say that these days.
Yep.
But definitely. So, Ian, I'm going to try and do my best to translate
Cool.
our interview. I've done this sort of thing with a bunch of people that you know very well, such as Dale De Groff, Jared Brown. Actually, coincidentally, just a few days ago, I came across a video of you of how to lose a cocktail competition.
All right. Yeah.
With Dale, which I find hilarious. Really was very, very funny.
As soon as we can travel again, I'll be doing some new ones because I haven't done those for about 5 years now.
I can't. Quindi, just a quick introduction. Mr. Burrell is the creator of the UK Rum Fest back in 2007. You correct me if I'm wrong. Which is the first international rum festival. There wasn't such a thing before that, which is fantastic. So certainly spreading the love for rum around the world. In 2014, you organized the world's largest rum tasting. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Over 350 people.
Not that much. It was like 380 people.
Okay. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
I bet that was
the record was 350, and we broke it by about 30.
Fantastic. In 2018, you win the award at Tales of the Cocktail for Best International Brand Ambassador.
I know, I can't believe it. I didn't even represent a brand, but I did get
Well,
nominated. I did get nominated 7 years in a row.
we'll get onto that a little later on. And in 2019, you co-found your own rum, which I believe you're drinking right now.
That's right,
Yeah,
Equiano.
fantastic. Excellent, excellent. So thanks again for accepting my invitation to have a chat today. We're trying to sort of spread our love for the industry in this very delicate time. I know you're not going through fantastic times over in the UK. A lot of
it is a little bit crazy. It is still full lockdown. A lot of bars and restaurants are really suffering. Some of them have had to have closed. They've tried to furlough staff as well. Some landlords have been cooperative. Some landlords haven't been. So it's tough all the way around. It's tough all the way around. So my thoughts go out to a lot of the bars and bar owners and people in the industry that are suffering at the moment. As such, but we'll pull through. We're resilient people.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Quindi ragazzi, diamo il benvenuto al signor Burrell che nel 2007 organizza e crea il primo festival dedicato solo ed esclusivamente al rum. Nel 2014 rompe il record per la più grande seduta di assaggi, tasting al mondo, nel libro dei Guinness World Records, quindi mi raccomando, dateci un'occhiata. Nel 2018 vince al Tales of the Cocktail il premio per International Brand Ambassador, quindi il brand ambassador a livello internazionale, senza rappresentare un brand specifico. E nel 2019 diventa il cofondatore del rum Akiana, che parleremo anche di quest'oggi. So, Ian, I'm going to get down to the nitty-gritty because I know you are probably the most experienced person around when it comes to rum. So,
ooh, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. There's a lot more people more experienced than me.
So there's already some questions coming, maybe. Okay. This is because obviously I run a bartending school here in Italy. We try and transmit everything that's been told and taught to us. Obviously, we kind of fine-train information because everybody, and you know, not everything gets told is legit, as you well know.
True.
Unfortunately, which is something we'll go on to, especially in the rum world. What's in your eyes a definition of a real rum? Because a lot of the students come to us and say, you know, I tried this brand as opposed to this brand, and so I want to hear it from the horse's mouth.
It's a tricky question, and the reason why it's a tricky question, because if I said to that same person who said to me, what is the definition of a real rum? If I had said, what is the definition of a real whiskey? There are going to be multiple answers. Because as we know, whiskey is made in so many different ways in different countries with different definitions.
Absolutely.
It's exactly the same as rum. The difference is because rum is a versatile spirit and it's used in so many ways, everybody decides to throw all rums in one category. When if you had asked me what is the definition of a Jamaican rum, I'll be able to tell you a Jamaican rum is made in Jamaica using molasses, made local, aged locally, no sugar added, no additives, because that's against the law in Jamaica. Age claims would be the youngest product inside there, so no Solera in Jamaica. That's a better question, because when you ask what is rum, you're talking about the whole category, but many, many different styles. So hopefully that answers the question. I can tell you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ok, quindi ragazzi, come dicevo appunto a Ian, il fatto che comunque nel mondo del rum, per quanto riguarda le categorie, c'è tanta confusione. Ho chiesto a Ian, secondo lui, che cos'era una definizione della parola rum. Ovviamente sappiamo che è un distillato o di canna da zucchero, di molasse di canna da zucchero, però giustamente lui dice dipende un pochino dallo stile di rum. Il rum giamaicano è un rum che ha delle caratteristiche molto particolari, che non ha aggiunte di zuccheri, che non ha additivi e ha un tipo di distillazione molto molto specifica. Più che altro appunto per cercare di, spesso e volentieri ci viene chiesto cosa definite un vero rum a differenza di un rum, non dico non vero, comunque con degli additivi. So, building on a little bit more.
I mean, I give you an example of this. So this rum here, this is a Jamaican rum, 40% alcohol by volume, unaged, but a great tasting Jamaica rum. Now, that is a real Jamaican rum. That is the definition of a real Jamaica rum. Now, this is illegal or couldn't be not called rum in Puerto Rico. In Puerto Rico, you have to be aged for a minimum of 1 year to be called rum. So in Puerto Rico, this would be called aguardiente. It wouldn't be called rum. So again, that says it depends on where the rum is made and the rules and definition of what the rum is to answer that question.
Okay, so you mentioned Jamaica. I know Jamaica is very close to your heart. I believe your mother's Jamaican?
Yep, Jamaican. I have a Jamaican passport. Mom and dad Jamaican. Yep.
Fantastic. So I heard so many different myths about what happens with Ray and nephew. When a child is born, or could you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I had my first sip of Ray nephew when I was 4 days old.
Wow! Not even 4 years old. 4 days old.
4 days, yeah. My mum put a little bit on my lip to help me sleep or put me to sleep. That could be a myth. It could be true. But it's a Jamaican way. But no, in Jamaica, rums are more than a spirit. They're a way of life. So they're used as part of the culture, whether you're drinking it, whether you're using it for cooking, whether you're pouring a bit on the floor to get rid of the ghosts or the bad vibes in your house. We call them duppies. So we use it in lots of different cultural ways, as well as drinking.
Excellent. Ho chiesto a Rian che ci sono tante leggende urbane, no? Specialmente per quanto riguarda, lui è molto legato, è metà giamaicano, ha anche il passaporto giamaicano, e è molto legato giustamente alla Giamaica. Ci sta spiegando che in Giamaica il rum non è solo un distillato, non è solo uno spirito, ma è proprio uno stile di vita. Viene utilizzato per la cucina, viene utilizzato viene versato per terra per mandare via i cattivi spiriti, i lati negativi, le negatività all'interno delle case, e dice che lui il suo primo goccino di Rain Nephew l'ha bevuto quando aveva solo 4 giorni per aiutarlo a dormire, e sicuramente questa cosa ha funzionato. Fantastic stuff. We're big fans of Rain Nephew as well. In our bars, we run bars, and Rain Nephew, if it was up to me, I'd put it everywhere, but it's not quite that easy. Building on.
No, it's now being looked after in Italy by Velier. Velier have Ray nephew, so you'll be able to get it everywhere now with the godfather of rum, Luca Gargano.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely in good hands now. Absolutely. So something that, building on from something that you've already said, there are different styles of rum that come from different places, understandably. What is classed a rum in one place perhaps is not in another. Okay. Cool. Do you think, and I kind of read up on your opinion on this before, but just to share with others, do you think there's some sort of regulation? I mean, of course, I realize that in a rum world, it's almost impossible to come up with something.
Same as whiskey, it's impossible. Same as brandy, it's impossible.
Because obviously, like you said, in different places, it's not right or wrong. It's just done differently.
It's cultural. It's cultural.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think, though, is we could come up perhaps with some sort of basic guidelines, to be very, very transparent on, what actually gets put in the spirits?
Well, it's 2 questions just asked there. Basic guidelines for rum, it won't happen because, again, it's always going to be boiled down to where the rum is made and how the rum is perceived in the territory where it's being sold. And then the second part of the question, I'm trying to remember now what you were saying. The second part of the question about clarity, 100%. All rums, you should be able to look at the rum and know exactly what's inside the bottle. So if there's sugar added to it, you should know there's sugar added to it. If there are additives like spices, you should know there are spices inside there. And that will then clarify and make the consumer understand what they're buying and what they're paying their money for, their hard-earned money for.
Which I think we both know there are a lot of brands that don't do this.
Correct. And that's down to, a lot of that is down to the markets where they're sold. They need to be stronger. For example, the EU needs to be stronger in recognizing the rules and regulations of the individual countries and the rules and regulations of the different styles of rums that they bring into the European Union, and respect their geographical indication.
Absolutely.
They do that with bourbon for America, because in America they sell Scotch whiskey. So if there's a two-way street, it's easier. If there's only a one-way, it's harder. And the small companies, the small countries, they always get left behind.
Assolutamente. Ho fatto due domande molto impegnative ad Ian. Fondamentalmente chiedevo che secondo lui se ci potrebbero essere delle guideline anche molto basilari per quanto riguarda il mondo del rum, per quanto riguarda la provenienza, la trasparenza su quanto viene invecchiato un distillato, a differenza delle bottiglie utilizzate, a differenza degli additivi e lo zucchero, che sono cose che non sempre riusciamo a capire da una bottiglia. Giustamente Ian ci spiega che ogni bottiglia di rum si dovrebbe capire, percepire cosa c'è al suo interno, se ci sono spezie, se c'è dello zucchero, se c'è del caramello. La glicerina viene utilizzata tantissimo nel mondo degli spirits, quindi la trasparenza è molto importante. Un'altra cosa che ci sta spiegando è il fatto che comunque le guideline sono praticamente impossibili, perché quello che viene percepito come rum in un paese per metodo di produzione potrebbe non essere percepito come tale in un altro paese. Ho fatto l'esempio del rum bar prima, dove 40% un alcol a 40%, un distillato a 40%, a Puerto Rico per esempio non viene percepito come rum, perché deve fare almeno un anno di affinamento in botte, quindi viene percepito come aguardiente. We already have a question, Ian, which I will hold on to a little bit later on, because I'd like to talk about Akiana as well. So yeah, basically, what are your thoughts on spiced rum? You mentioned spices right now.
Yeah.
And I'm touching all the right buttons here.
So spiced rum is let me put it this way. Drinking rum is an experience, and everybody has their own rum experience. Some people like to drink a rum from, say, Jamaica because they've been to Jamaica. Some people like to drink a rum from Cuba because they've been to Cuba and they drink in Havana, they drink in Santiago de Cuba, Malato rum, so they have that emotional connection to the product. Now, spiced rums are a product of the colonizers, the colonizing countries, the countries that took over these islands inside the Caribbean. They took spices from other areas they colonized, and they put those together here in Europe. Spiced rum is a European concept. Now, in the Caribbean, we flavor our rums with some spices, but for medicine. All these rums were for medicine as such. When you drank a rum, it was unaged, it was strong, it was white. In Europe, especially like in England, where I'm from, spiced rums was a concept to make certain rums easy to drink or palatable. So you added sugar, you added vanilla, you added spices. I like to say that spiced rum is a caricature for real rums. It's like a cartoon character for real rums. Because all you're doing is you're amplifying the natural flavors of a natural rum that has nothing added to it. So you're amplifying the vanilla you get from the barrels. You're amplifying the natural sugars you get from the caramelization of the sugar woods. You're amplifying some of the fruit flavors you get from the development of esters inside the barrel. So spiced rum, there is a place for spiced rums or spiced rums for drinkers. A lot of young people like spice rums. I'm too young. I'm too old now for some spice rums. But it's a journey. People are on a rum journey. Some may still be in the spiced rum mode, as well as drinking unspiced rums. And some people will just stay drinking spiced rums because for them, that's what rum is to them.
Okay.
Just to throw in there, my only problem with spiced rums is when the word spiced is not added to the label.
Okay.
If the word spiced is added to the label, and then rum, if it's real rum, 37.5% and higher, I have no problem with that. Because then I know what it is. Clarity.
I don't know. I don't want to be overdoing it here, but if it brings me to say that if it's a decent rum to begin with, if you have a quality material to begin with, you don't necessarily need to be adding anything to it.
Oh well, that's what we'd like to believe and like to think. But here's the thing. Remember I said about rum experiences? Yeah. Some people have sweet palates. Yeah. And a true rum, just like a true whiskey, that's unsweetened, maybe still a bit too sharp or a bit too pungent for that particular palate. So they may need a bit of sugar in there and other types of flavors that they might to make it a much more better experience for them. Absolutely. But what you just said about if you've got a good rum, you don't need to add spices to it. If you've got a good rum and you add spices to it, it should be, in theory, a good spice rum. Yeah. Okay. It's when you have crap shit spirit and you add loads of caramel and sugar to it and you try to pretend it's a spice rum. Really, it's a spice vodka with flavors, rum flavors in it. That's the problem. But a good spice rum should have good rum in it. Okay. I'm totally with you and I totally agree with you on this one. Ho chiesto a Ian, ragazzi, quali erano i suoi pensieri sullo spice rum, sul rum speziato. A suo dire, il bere rum è un'esperienza sensoriale, è un'esperienza emotiva che ci dà, che ci regala spesso e volentieri, colleghiamo magari ad alcune nostre esperienze, no? Magari siamo andati in ferie in Giamaica, a differenza di Cuba, e quindi leghiamo magari alcune esperienze, potremmo legare alcune esperienze emotive a quello che stiamo bevendo. Il suo pensiero sul rum speziato è quando sulla bottiglia c'è specificato rum speziato, quindi spiced rum, nessun tipo di problema, perché spesso e volentieri, lo sappiamo, non c'è bisogno che dicano le marche, non sono scritti sulla bottiglia e di conseguenza non c'è trasparenza sotto questo punto di vista qui. Ci sono, io come mi sono permesso di dire, se abbiamo un prodotto, un distillato di qualità in primis, non c'è bisogno di andare ad aggiungere troppe spezie, perché comunque in qualche maniera andiamo a modificare quelle che sono le caratteristiche del rum stesso. Come dice Ian giustamente, ci sono in alcuni casi prodotti dove ci possono aggiungere alcune spezie, l'importante è che venga scritto sulla bottiglia, e purtroppo ci sono tanti brand che questa cosa non la fanno. Poi fondamentalmente fare un rum speziato, come dice Ian giustamente, può partire anche da una vodka, aggiungiamo un po' di caramello, un po' di spezie e non siamo molto lontani da quello che è un rum speziato. Ok, about Equiano. I know it's a product that's very, very close to your heart. There it is. It's reversed. We need to get to reverse labels especially for Instagram.
Would you like to share a little bit of info about Akiana?
So this is So this rum.
Where the molasses come from?
Someone asked where the molasses come from. Well, it's actually from two different places. Because this rum is a blend of rums from the African continent and the Caribbean. So the rum from Africa is from Mauritius. All the molasses, sugarcane is from the estate that the Gray's distillery owns. So it's all local. And all the molasses coming from Barbados is basically brought in and imported into Barbados because as a very small island, that is not growing enough sugarcane to sustain the rum industry, they have to bring in molasses in from other countries. So the distillery that makes our rum, blends our rum and bottles our rum in Barbados is a company called Foursquare Distillery. One of the most famous rum makers at the moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we take a rum that's been aged in ex-cognac casks from Mauritius. It's 10 years old. We send that all the way to Barbados. And once it gets to Barbados, Richard Seal, our master blender, blends that together with some of his rum. The youngest rum he uses in his blend, is 8 years old. So it's 8 years and up. He blends that together, lets it rest for a while, bottles it in Foursquare, and then sends it to America and sends it to Europe. And that's it. It's named after Alauda Equiano. Alauda Equiano was an 18th century freedom fighter. He was an abolitionist. He was an entrepreneur. He was an African that was enslaved. And he bought his own freedom selling rum for about 45 euros, which was about 3 years' wages back then. So he saved up enough money to buy his own freedom, wrote a book, and that book helped with the abolition of the transatlantic slave business back in 1807. So a very important person we wanted to name the rum after, and our rum does the same journey as he did. He was taken from Africa, taken to Barbados, and then sold into Europe. And our rum does the same thing: Africa, Barbados, and then Europe. So we made the same journey. But and someone just asked, do they support good workers' rights? 100%. There is fair wages, fair trade, definitely fair workers' rights. Actually, Mauritius has some of the best what's called agricultural workers' rights in the whole of the African continent. So yes, 100% in answer to that question.
Okay, I'm going to try and remember all that because that was a big.
Oh right, sorry, yeah. Maybe you should be translating. I should be going slower and you translate.
I always try to get my facts right, so that's why. Ok, quindi ragazzi abbiamo parlato appunto di Equiano. Equiano ha una bellissima, una grandissima storia perché è legato a un freedom fighter, a un lottatore esatto di libertà, sorry?
Entrepreneur.
Sì, un imprenditore che ha lottato per la sua libertà vendendo appunto rum. All'epoca circa 45 euro, che erano tipo 3 anni di stipendio. Quindi le molasse, come chiedevamo prima, una parte vengono dal Mauritius e un'altra parte dal Barbados, perché il Barbados non riesce a produrre abbastanza molasse per produrre il rum del tutto, e di conseguenza una parte vengono suddivise. Vengono suddivise 10 years aging, did you say?
Yes, a blend of 10 years and 8 years, yeah.
Okay. Quindi è un blend di un 10 anni e un 8 anni, viene blendato, miscelato sapientemente da Richard Seal di Foursquare, azienda che conosciamo tutti, penso, in ex sherry cask?
Cognac.
Yeah,
okay. Cognac.
Che fa finalmente
sherry cask soon.
Okay, you have a new variant coming?
Not yet, but coming. Soon coming.
Good news coming here. Quindi ex botti dove fanno un ulteriore affinamento, il cosiddetto riposo finale, dopodiché viene esportato appunto sia negli Stati Uniti che in Europa. Where is it available here in Europe? Who carries it in Europe?
It's we sell in the UK. In Italy, it's it's been sold by or looked after by Velia.
Okay.
Luca Gargano, the godfather of rum, was one of our first big investors in the brand.
Okay.
when I look at Luca, a lot of people look at me and they say, Ian, you know so much about rum, but Luca has been a massive inspiration for me in understanding and learning about rum. And when he found out about this project, Luca said, I want to be part of this. So Luca is an investor in Equiano Rum, just the same way as Richard Seal is an investor. And so if you want to buy Equiano, it is in Italy through Velier.
Yeah. Absolutely. Ok, quindi
you know, in the house.
ci sta spiegando Ian che Equiano, per chi lo volesse assaggiare, è disponibile tramite Velier. Luca Gargano è uno degli investitori insieme a Richard Seal, sempre di Foursquare, come dicevamo prima, e ci sta spiegando che Luca è stato comunque una grandissima, gli ha trasmesso tantissimo da un punto di vista di rum. Spesso e volentieri parliamo con Ian come un grandissimo esperto di rum, sì lo è, però la sua ispirazione è stato Luca Gargano, assolutamente. Working on from this, Ian, what made you fall in love with rum?
I'm Jamaican.
It's in your DNA, I guess, yeah.
It's absolutely in my DNA. It's like Asterix and Obelix from no, Obelix fell into that vat of potion that made him strong. I fell into a vat of rum.
Of rum, yeah. Okay, but when did you realize that you wanted to be a brand ambassador for rum? You know, when you decided to grow up and say, okay, this is what I want to be when I grow up.
Okay, I mean, I'll say this line by line so you can translate into Italian.
Thank you.
So it started off in the early 2000s while I was bartending. You're going to translate?
No, ok. Gli ho chiesto a Ian quando ha deciso, tra virgolette, di diventare un brand ambassador del rum a livello mondiale. E lui ci sta dicendo appunto, iniziò negli anni 2000 quando ancora lavorava dietro al bar.
Ray and Nephew in Appleton, they made me the first brand ambassador in the UK in the late 90s.
Ok, quindi il Ray Nephew at Appleton, coincidentally, one of the directors of the school is the current Appleton Estate Italian brand ambassador.
Ah, cool, excellent.
In a family here. Si sta spiegando che Ray Nephew at Appleton gli hanno dato il ruolo appunto del primissimo brand ambassador nel Regno Unito.
And while I was teaching English bartenders about Appleton rum, I was then asked to launch Appleton in places like Australia and New Zealand.
Ok, quindi una volta che ho iniziato a insegnare ai bartender inglesi tutto quello che c'era da sapere sull'Appleton, gli è stato chiesto di continuare a farlo anche in altri paesi come l'Australia.
And it was while I was in Australia and New Zealand talking to other bartenders about Jamaica rum and getting paid to do it, I said,
hey,
this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Absolutely. I think it's the best. I'm trying to read this part. Ci sta spiegando che comunque dal momento che era in Australia, ovviamente pagato per parlare di una sua grandissima passione, che era appunto un giamaicano, ho detto, aspetta un attimo, forse questo è quello che voglio fare da grande. I think in our trading, it sounds really not so pleasant saying it like we do, but that's what it boils down to, being paid to do something that you absolutely love, whether it's explaining something, because obviously when there's people that pay you to hear you speak, I think that's ultimate for me. Absolutely.
It's Confucius. Confucius said, find a job that you're passionate about, and you never have to work a day in your life.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That's what I've done. I follow Confucius.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, I think the difference obviously is when, from a bartending point of view, if you come across somebody that's passionate about a given spirit, you could sit there and, explain to them, this is done this way and this is done that way. But obviously, they'll get to a certain point, they'll just pick up their drink and go back to their table. As opposed to somebody actually, I find it really, really satisfying to be able to, explain and try and transmit everything I've been through.
Yeah. It's like I love bartending. I love jumping behind the sticks, banging out some cocktails, making people smile, creating drinks for them like that. For me, that's the reason why I've been in this industry for 30 years, because
Yeah.
I love making drinks and making people smile.
Ok. So, Ian ci sta spiegando appunto il fatto che comunque gli piace tantissimo continuare a... un attimo lo stiamo perdendo. Gli piace tantissimo comunque stare dietro il bancone quando ha la possibilità, sorridere, parlare con la gente, fare dei cocktail, creare dei cocktail. La cosa che troviamo entrambi molto appagante è il fatto che comunque quando si ha la possibilità di trasmettere tutta la passione e tutto quello che ci è stato insegnato a noi, anche in scuola o ad alcune delle masterclass che fa Ian, è sicuramente molto molto bello, molto molto pagante per quanto riguarda. I just threw in the fact that obviously you conduct a lot of masterclasses, so and you're a regular on Channel 4.
We will be doing myself and Velia. We will be doing an Equiano masterclass just for Italian bartenders very soon. So I'll let you know when we do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope we get an invitation, or
no, you'll be invited. You'll be invited.
We could get something organized in the school. It's a pretty big place that we have, so we can definitely accommodate a lot of people for that. Okay, so you mentioned cocktails. What are your favorite rum cocktails? I bet you asked this a million times.
The daiquiri. That's the best rum cocktail in the world.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a big fan of rum Negronis and rum old fashions.
Yeah, I mean, I love rum Negronis, rum Manhattans, rum old fashions, Mai Tais, a pina colada, but the daiquiri is just up there, and all the rest are just below. But rum is a versatile category. There's so many different styles of rums that will make any particular cocktail work. Depends on which rum you want to use for that cocktail.
I think from a bartending point of view, Ian, correct me if I'm wrong, the simplest drinks sometimes are the easiest to screw up.
Yeah, correct. It is because sometimes because they are simple, some people try to overcomplicate them, and they don't have to be overcomplicated. They were made simple. They've stood the test of time because they are simple. And that's the reason why some people do try to change them up too much. But you're right, they can be messed up.
Absolutely. So chiedevo appunto a Ian quali erano i suoi cocktail preferiti a base di rum. Lui ha detto in assoluto il daiquiri perché comunque è un drink molto molto semplice. Dopo io mi sono permesso di dire a me piacciono tantissimo anche gli old fashioned rum, a differenza di un bel rum, un Negroni al rum con rum e tanti altri ancora, la pina colada, perché no? Assolutamente. A volte, spesso e volentieri, i drink più semplici, specialmente il daiquiri, che comunque è composto da solo 3 ingredienti, sono anche quelli più facilmente errati o comunque vengono fatti in una maniera errata. Quindi a volte anche i cocktail più semplici rimangono i più buoni. Ecco perché comunque li chiamiamo classici ancora adesso, nonostante sono stati creati in alcuni casi centinaia di anni fa. Il fatto che li beviamo ancora adesso sicuramente è una cosa molto positiva, hanno passato il test del tempo, come si suol dire. Ok, so do you have any advice for anybody that's approaching or would like to get involved with rum a little bit more? Apart from perhaps, start reading some books, listen to your masterclasses, or is there any advice that you'd like to give to anybody that wants to
get into rum? Yeah. Well, I mean, you've said the obvious: the books and the masterclasses. Knowledge is power. In fact, let me rephrase that: the use of knowledge is power. So you learn something, and then you use it, and that's the power part. So if you learn something about rum, then maybe pass that on to somebody else, either through a talk, a presentation, or even through a cocktail. Something you've learned about rum, because what you're doing then is you've been empowered by what you've learned, and now you're empowering someone else. And that's how you slowly become an ambassador for the category or for rum.
Un attimo solo, ragazzi, che sorry, I blocked you for a second.
yeah, if you're looking to turn this into a profession, where you can get paid for doing this, or you're working with different brands, they're going to pay for not only your knowledge, but how you give that knowledge, how you deliver it. So the other thing is, be yourself. If you like certain styles of rums, talk about it. If you don't like certain styles of rums, don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Talk about the things you enjoy. Talk about the things you like. Talk about the things that make you feel special, because that's how you're going to make the people you're talking to feel. And that's what a rum ambassador is about. That's any brand ambassador. You got the Appleton brand ambassador on there.
Yeah.
That's how you get people to love your product. If you're confident in your products and you're passionate about it, people will feel that. So yes, learn about the brand, learn about rums, learn about how they make you feel, or let people know how it makes you feel, and pass that information on.
Absolutely. Mi sono permesso di chiedere ad Ian quale consigli dava a chi avesse piacere di approcciare il mondo del rum, in qualche maniera da dove iniziare. Giustamente i libri, la lettura è molto molto importante, seguire magari alcune masterclass, perché no, anche da Ian stesso. Come dice Ian, l'utilizzo del knowledge, l'utilizzo della conoscenza e la possibilità di trasmetterla è potere, perché è bellissimo imparare qualcosa e trasmetterlo a qualcun altro. Quando lo si fa, sicuramente è molto molto piacevole, però comunque il consiglio che ci dà è di imparare su ogni tipologia di rum e di apprezzare e parlarne anche con altri. Comunque di farne nostra una determinata esperienza. Non parlare male di altri brand, assolutamente. Parlate di quello che vi fa piacere, non parlate male di quello che non parlate di quello che non vi fa piacere. Quindi cosa molto molto importante. We have a question.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Our friend Charlotte says you were the first person to champion a sector. I've been in a state of years myself, and I don't recall anybody that was an ambassador for a given spirit.
Yeah, there isn't any official. When I look at maybe tequila, but even tequila is only from one region. You can only make tequila in tequila in Mexico. And you have two people I see as champions there, like Tom Esters and Julio Bogono from Tommy's in San Francisco. So they represent tequila when they travel around the world and they do talks and presentations. When I gave myself the title of Global Ambassador for Rum, it wasn't from a narcissistic sense. It was because of the fact I spoke about rum. I was an ambassador for rum, like anyone that enjoys rum is an ambassador for rum. I just happened to travel around the world. Either me paying for myself because I wanted to learn and spread the gospel according to rum, or if I was being hired or employed by various different rum companies to talk about rum. So in essence, even though I made up my name, I made up my title, the industry didn't know they needed an ambassador for rum. But I believe they needed somebody just to speak for rum, which is why I created the first Rum Fest in 2007. So I was the first. I don't know if there's anyone else at the moment still, but it was a while back.
Not that I'm aware, not for the time being, or at least, like you said, Julio definitely for tequila, and Dre that I was fortunate enough to have.
Julio and Dre, Dre as well,
he's another awesome person that we had a chat with last week. Quindi ho chiesto una domanda che ci è stata fatta dalla nostra amica Charla ad Ian, un pochino il fatto che lui ha creato un pochino questo personaggio, no? Perché comunque, come dice lui, io non parlavo solo di un brand di rum, ma parlavo di tutti i brand, perché comunque spesso e volentieri veniva impiegato da tante aziende diverse. Di conseguenza, a differenza di quello che magari è il lavoro svolto da Julio Vermejo o Dremasso, che abbiamo menzionato anche negli ultimi giorni, la differenza per esempio del tequila, che comunque è di una zona sola, mentre il rum è in tante zone del mondo. E di conseguenza lui si è un pochino autoproclamato, non in una maniera egoista, in qualche maniera, ma in una maniera per cercare di far capire a tutti che lui parla di tutti i rum e ha una conoscenza di tutti i rum, assolutamente. Fantastic, Ian. Thank you so much. I hope I did you justice with the translations.
You did, but I didn't understand, so I don't know. You could have been saying, "Oh, Ian doesn't know anything about rum."
I hear a very good Spanish accent in your voice.
Oh yeah, see, I love Spanish. I teach myself Spanish. It's still not as good as what it should be, but when I do talk about rum, when I talk about ron from España, I like to try to say it in the local language. So if it's a rum from what's called a Spanish, that is Spanish influence, I like to try to say it like the Spanish would say.
I always get lots of different faces when I do the same in either English, because I'm actually Italian, believe it or not.
Oh, you're Cockney when you get your Cockney.
And people are like, I can put on a bit of Cockney, like.
There you go.
That's I'll see if there's any more questions. Otherwise,
there was a few questions there.
Yeah. We got through a lot. I must admit, I've been very fortunate to speak to a lot of you guys. Your name was missing from the list. I still have a few more, I must admit. I think in the negative side of what this pandemic has brought us, as also, I like to see in every silver cloud in every cloud there's a silver line, right?
Correct.
Is always, I've certainly had a fantastic experience on being able to ask you guys questions. I aim pretty high, I'm thankful that, a lot of people have said yes to these kind of talks. So I'm very, very happy about that. And hopefully, like I say, we'll be able to meet up for a rum old fashioned somewhere around the world very, very soon.
Sounds good. Maybe in Italy. Well, no, not maybe. Most probably in Italy.
Probably in Italy at some point. Quindi ragazzi, ho colto l'occasione per ringraziare Ian, per ringraziare appunto del tempo che ci ha regalato quest'oggi, con la possibilità appunto di poterlo ritrovare in Italia o in giro per il mondo, perché no? Noi siamo felicissimi di poter fare queste cose in questo tempo sicuramente molto, molto delicato. Mi raccomando, iscrivetevi al nostro canale YouTube. Vi annuncio già adesso il nostro prossimo ospite, Hamish Smith, di 50 Best Bars. You know Hamish, I hear?
I know Hamish, yeah.
He's my next guest on Monday, and I have a few more guests coming up in the next couple of weeks. I gotta be honest with you, I'm kind of hoping to go back to the stressful life that we all hated until a few months ago. But at least I'm having fun. Ian, thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you.
Piano, and
grazie mille. Grazie.
And all the best for the future.
Okay, and you. Yeah. Stay safe. Stay safe.
Cheers.
Salute.
Ok, allora ragazzi, ringraziamo ancora Ian per l'appuntamento di oggi. Lunedì abbiamo Hamish Smith direttamente da 50 Best Bars. Vi chiedo, se avete piacere, di iscrivervi al nostro canale YouTube, seguiteci su Facebook e vi aspetto alla prossima puntata, lunedì prossimo, sempre su The Garage Cocktail. Ciao a tutti.